We've kept track of every single little thing that we've spent money on for the past 2 months while living in a motorhome and traveling around Spain. So we just wanted to share with you how much it costs to live in a motorhome. The short answer for us, on average, seems to be 900 euros per month for both of us. But we will break that down in this video and explain to you everything we spent money on.
Okay, so the biggest spending by far, like everyone will tell you, is food. Food.
Yeah, so in March we spent 396 on groceries. 25 we spent on eating out. We don't go out that much.
As you can see, 25 euros is going out one time. Probably.
Yeah, one time. Sometimes we get something from like a bakery or a cafe, not much, 7.50 in March. So total in March we spent 428.50 on food.
You go into a supermarket, you will buy toilet paper, and you buy you need all kinds of other things, like from toothpaste to whatever, to bags, like bin bags that we have to buy maybe every month.
So it's not just food, actually, it's groceries, so including all kinds of other products. In April we spent even more. We spent 504 including 463 on groceries, which was quite a lot. I don't know, some grocery stores are just more expensive than others. Sometimes you get stuck in like a small village where everything's really expensive and, it is what it is.
We ate some pizza in like some really nice place. It was not a nice pizza, but a very nice place. And so 31 euros for eating out, and the bakery cafe, some 10 euros. On average, we spend 466 on groceries, meaning on food and whatever else we need on top of that. So yeah, a lot of money in my view, like a lot more than I was expecting. But on the other hand, it's not like we are buying all kinds of like crazy expensive things. Mostly we buy, like, I'm the one who spends the most, and I'm buying just like raw meat, some chicken and some ribs or whatever, like pork meat and potatoes, and not much. I mean, it's like fruits and vegetables, and my vice, which is sweets. I buy sweets. Quite a lot of sweets. I don't eat as much as I think most people may imagine that I'm eating when I say that this is my weakness, sweets. But yeah, sweets too. In general, I think we didn't miss anything in terms of like having food. We didn't kind of stop ourselves from like buying stuff. Sometimes we will buy like this pre-cooked paellas or fideos from
that's why we spend more money this month, maybe. Some pre-cooked grocery food.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I had the
know.
sweets and food and some vegetables and stuff. So
that's food.
That's food, but it's important to know that we don't like stop ourselves from like usually from buying whatever we want to buy, except we don't go out to eat out much at all, like almost never, because that would be really, really expensive.
Yeah, probably for a lot of people this would be kind of the killer there, because you arrive, maybe you're tired, you arrive in some village. Every village in Spain basically has a bar which has food after 9 p.m. or so of course it will be really easy to just stop somewhere, go somewhere, and then go to a restaurant straight away, or just try new things in every little place you go. But since Tio has some serious stomach issues, we can't really do that anyway, on top of we don't have much money, so we can't afford it. And so I think 466 on average for 2 people for 1 month is not too bad. 230 euros on food per person is not too bad.
Next,
fuel.
Next expensive thing.
In March it rained a lot, and we didn't drive all that much. We drove perhaps 1,000 kilometers or so, maybe a bit less. We didn't actually keep exact track of how much we drove, but since it rained a lot, we didn't go that far, we spent less on fuel. We spent 140 euros in March.
But I think that's how we should be our goal, to be like around 1,000 kilometers a month, because else it feels a bit too fast. we were a bit in a rush for all kinds of reasons now, but eventually we will be able to hopefully just live in the motorhome and not have to go some specific places, to arrive there by some period of time more. And you have to keep in mind that the prices for fuel can vary quite a lot. Sometimes it's like 1.6 euros per liter. Sometimes it's 1.3. It depends, it depends. This car will eat a lot of fuel. Plus, it so depends if you go up the mountains, you will consume a lot more. Or our motorhome is a box, so even on a highway, it's a lot of air resistance. So it depends.
Yeah, fuel you'll consume. Yeah. And then April, we drove a lot more. We went like all the way from the south of Spain to the north of Spain and around Picos de Europa, and also stopped in a bunch of other places. We visited some caves. We saw some really cool places. We were also in a little bit of a rush to get back up north because I need to go to work, unfortunately, this month. So we spent 248 euros on fuel. And we drove 1,542 kilometers exactly. We kept track this time. So
on average, we spend around 200 euros a month on fuel. It is kind of what I was expecting for us to pay. And we can go quite a long distance from south to the north or east to west in Spain, for example. In Spain is quite big. So it's not too bad.
But the slower you travel, the more you save on fuel.
Internet is simple. It's 81 euros a month, which is hugely expensive. But on the other hand, so far, for the past 3 months that we've been traveling, it has been fantastic. I mean, we have internet full unlimited and anywhere, basically. So because we have satellite internet, it's very expensive. But again, in my view, it is worth it. And it's a must for me, for my projects. So yeah, that's not a big expense.
So both months, of course, it's the same, 81 euros. That's how it is.
We have propane or butane gas bottles. We need them for heating up the place, for cooking, for heating up the water, and for the fridge. So we use propane quite a bit. And when it was kind of cold outside and rainy and so forth, then we will use them quite a lot to heat up the place mostly. That's what eats the most.
Yeah, and that's why in March we spent 47 euros on propane, so that's probably 3 bottles that we bought, versus in April we just bought 1 bottle of propane for 18 euros. So on average that's 33 euros. So I guess in the summer when it's warmer you don't need much, and maybe you'll buy once a month or so. And then in the winter, you'll buy a lot more. I mean, in March, we were using the heater even in the daytime throughout the day and every morning, every night. So, yeah, we needed a lot more. And hopefully it won't be like that most of the time.
This is kind of exactly what I was projecting about the propane costs, around 30 euros a month on average. Next.
Laundry.
Or how not to be dirty.
So we work out that we can do laundry once every 3 or 4 weeks. So sometimes you do laundry once in 1 month, sometimes you do it twice in 1 month, kind of like that. In March we did laundry twice, it cost us 40 euros. In April we did it once, cost us 17 euros. So on average we have about 29 euros or so.
And we are laundry. Not dirty, honestly. We have enough clothes to not be dirty.
29 euros on laundry per month means we're very clean.
Well, washing once a month, it means that we put 2 loads, okay? We don't
put a big load and we have a lot of underwear.
It also depends how much it costs. Sometimes it's a lot cheaper, sometimes it's a lot more expensive. Depends what places you can find to wash your clothes. But the good thing, if you do it once every 3 to 4 weeks, is that you have time to find places that are better located in terms of like parking and then doing the laundry, and cheaper. And it's worth mentioning that when we say laundry, we also say drying them, because that's also part of the cost. Maybe some people, and I've seen all kinds of videos of people traveling to Europe, they wash their clothes, but they dry them in the motorhome somehow, but I think that's not worth
crazy.
it. It's crazy.
No.
We rather pay like €3 or €4 to dry our clothes, because the same place where you can wash the clothes, you can also dry them. So that's why it costs as much as it costs.
Next is parking. Again, in March it was really cold and rainy, and we paid for parking a bunch of times because we didn't want to be stuck in a place that could get flooded or something like that, so just to stay on the safe side. In March we paid €42 for parking, and then an extra €5 for water refill.
I was thinking when we started this that we will never pay for parking for motorhomes, because especially in Spain it's full of free motorhome parkings and free places where you can park even if they are not for motorhomes. However, sometimes it's very tempting to pay for a parking spot if one is extremely cheap, like say €5 or so to stay for the night, and second, the weather or other conditions may force you to like find a safer place to park for several days. So that's what we did in March because of the rainy fucking season.
In April, the weather was much better. We didn't pay for parking at all, except once when we visited a cave where we had to just pay for the parking lot, not to stay overnight, and that was €3.50. So if we average that out, that's €25 per month. But I assume that most months when the weather's nice, we won't really need to pay much at all for parking.
Yeah, but average €20-30 a month, I think it's okay. Even now we stay in a place where we pay like €8 a day, but it's a super super nice in nature, in the mountains kind of place. So
yeah, sometimes sometimes you have just like some very nice country parking places that are cheap and just really really nice, and maybe it's worth it to stay there too.
The phone credit, we don't need much because we have satellite internet, so we pay enough for that fucking thing. But sometimes we may need some phone credit, so in March we paid just €5 for phone credit, maybe just for one phone, and in April 14.
We buy with Lebara. It's just a Spanish company that is quite cheap, just €5 a month, or no, €7, €5 or €7 you can pay, and then you get, I don't know, a few gigs of data.
7 gigs of internet, because we don't need any fucking, I don't understand why people put like still free calls or international or whatever. We don't need, you have internet, that's it. That's what we need.
Yeah, we just need the internet basically. So we don't pay much, and there's no commitment or anything. You just pay on the month that you want to buy it, and that's it.
So €10 average for the phone credit. Extra. Okay, those were the things that we have to pay. Whatever we said so far, those are the things that we always have to pay. But there are some extra things, of course. So, for example.
So the Chinese and hardware store, sometimes, I don't know, we wanted to buy an extra small pan, or we needed to buy some spray for mold in March because we were getting mold.
Tape.
Yeah, all kinds of little things like that from the hardware store. Pharmacy, if you need something.
So in March we paid for hardware stuff like €38, and pharmacy €15-16. So these were the extra things we paid in March. But in April we said let's go and visit some amazing places.
So in April we spent money on more fun things. Probably another reason why April was more expensive. Weather was better. We went on a hike called the Caminito del Rey. It was a really beautiful place. You have to get tickets ahead of time and all of this stuff. They give you helmets. We paid €39 for that, but it was totally worth it. It was a really, really beautiful place.
And then we also went to this amazing cave, Cuevas de Aguila. And we paid €22 for the both of us, and it was totally worth it. It was an amazing, amazing cave. And I think, those are worth it. And on average, we spend around €57 on extra things.
Yeah, so all kinds of whatever random things.
So let's recap. Food on average.
€466.
Fuel.
€194.
Internet.
€81.
propane,
33,
laundry,
29,
parking,
25,
phone,
10,
and extra.
57.
And on average,
895 euros. That's on average out of just 2 months. It's not a big sample, but it's something. This is every little tiny thing that we spend money on, every little ice cream that we bought, every little thing. So 900 euros for 2 people traveling around the whole country. It's not too bad.
yeah, I mean, with 900 euros to go and visit like Picos de Europa and Camino del Rey and caves, and then have food as much as you want, and then internet unlimited, and don't feel too cold because you have enough propane to heat yourself up, and all of that, I think, is not bad. 900 euros,
Yeah.
fuel and everything, yeah.
And, well, one thing maybe we should also mention. So there's also car insurance and car inspections that we have to do yearly. Mm-hmm. So we paid that once a year, so we didn't count that in the average. So for the car insurance, we paid 450 per year. If we did that if we paid for it monthly, it would be 37.50 a month. And the car inspection, we pay about 100 per year, so that's about 850.
Because we do it twice.
We have to do it
every
twice.
half a year.
So that would be an extra 46 euros or so per month. So let's say our costs would be more like 940 on average, if you added those extra costs, okay?
The great thing about living in Europe, specifically Spain, is that health insurance costs you very little, meaning 0 euros, because health insurance is completely free. We don't have to worry about that. Imagine we had to add like a few hundreds of euros on top of these spendings. But we have health insurance in Spain, and it's completely free, so we don't have to pay for that. And of course, people will say, you are in a motorhome, what about repairs? Everyone talks about that, and everyone is concerned about that. For us, it was not a concern so far because we only lived for 3 months in the motorhome. I'm sure this will be a concern and a big cost. I hope it's not going to be more than 1,000 a year. Hopefully, if we need to fix things, and 1,000 a year may mean like 80 euros a month or something. So even if that's the case, then we are still around like 1,000 euros costs with everything, insurance and repairs, like 1,000 euros for 2 people with absolutely everything, I think.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't run into any big mechanical problems. And if you compare this to like living in a house, in an apartment in Spain, I think it's still quite cheap. One thing you have to realize is that, when you're living in a motorhome, like we have all of our stuff here, we don't have a storage somewhere else, we're not paying rent somewhere, we're living here full time, so we don't have those extra expenses. So when people say, oh, it's so expensive, maybe they're thinking that, oh, they need to pay rent and then they need to pay for the motorhome life on top of that. But for us, this is, everything.
If you were to compare it with living in a house, then food is going to be the same. Sometimes internet will be the same. We paid the same amount, exactly the same amount of money for internet, like fiber internet in the house. Propane could be the same or even more because most houses, especially in Spain, use propane. You don't pay for laundry, for example, or for parking, or maybe some extra things that we pay with the motorhome. However, you have to pay for electricity, you have to pay for water, so it's going to be a lot more expensive.
And rent. I mean, of course, we initially had to pay for this motorhome, but we paid that out, and now we don't have to pay for rent. I mean, if you paid rent, I mean, of course, it depends on where you would live. If you lived in Barcelona, you would be spending way more than what we spend monthly on everything, probably, just on rent,
You can compare kind of rent with fuel, because you may say, okay, you have to pay for fuel too. Find me a nice place in Spain for 200 euros a month where you can live, and even that is not comparable, even if you find that, because in the motorhome, you can see the world, not just Spain, basically, with 200, 300 euros a month.
Yeah, so I think 1,000 euros a month or so is totally doable if you don't splurge too much, and you can have a really great time. You can see a lot of really beautiful places, and you can kind of just live an interesting life. That's it.